Close your eyes.
Change happens to everyone, whether it is good or bad. We have to adjust, and what matters the most is how we address to that change. I was living a happy, normal, and contented life in Abra. I was happy that I have my family and friends right beside me. But everything changes last summer. When all of a sudden, my dad called me who is working overseas, saying that the company that he is currently working on closed down. And he also said that he don't know if he can find a new job and if I will be able to continue my studies as a grade 11 student. I was very stressed out about it and couldn't stop thinking about it. Luckily, my auntie called me after hearing about my story. She said that she will pay all the expenses for my studies. I am finally relieved and very happy. But there's a catch. I have to continue my studies in a place called Mabini, Batangas, where my 2 grandma and 2 cousins are. I agreed because there's no other choice for me, and I think it's great since I am able to watch my relatives here at Mabini. On the first day that I arrived here at Mabini, I already feel like it's my second home. Not just because my relatives are here, but it's pretty similar to my hometown Abra. I discovered a lot of things in my first week here, like the beaches, resorts, foods, traditions, and so much more that I couldn't remember them all. I was already a great time here in just my first week, and can't wait to see what's next. Whatever it is, I should be prepared and confident about it. When the first day of school started, I was really nervous and excited. I was thinking such things like, what would my classmates think of me? Who would be my new friends? All sort of things. Like, who wouldn't be excited at their first day of a new school that you aren't familiar with? There are so many possibilities that can happen. So I stand up and introduce myself in front of the class. Surprisingly, my classmates liked me. So I became friends with them and starting to know about each other. Every day seems getting better and better here. When starting my new life in different place, I needed to know about the culture here at Mabini and how to take care of myself. This was a good chance to get my own independence. I am very glad and happy that I've come here. A new town, a new life, a new challenges. Fighting the change on pretending it did not happen usually creates more drama and more conflict. But sometimes, we just cannot help ourselves adjusting to and finding a new normal is more productive and just feels better.
Mabini. Officially, the municipality of Mabini is a first-class municipality in the province of Batangas, Philippines. According to 2015 census, it has a population of 46,211 people.
Mabini became an independent town on January 1, 1918 and recently celebrated its 100 years.
La 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 la, larga Mabini. Tara na, Mabinian, magdiwang tayo. Salubungin natin ang sentenaryo ng may tunay na pagkakaisa. Tara na, sulyapan ang nakaraan mula ng tinatag ni Don Francisco Castillo. Tara na, Mabinian, magsaya tayo. Kayong narito, migranted OFW, Mabinian saan man sa mundo. Halina't sulyapan ang nakaraan. Kinilala ang Mabini na sentro ng sentro ng sentro. Yaman ang karagatan nating iba't iba at sadyang puno. Sa kaunlaran, patuloy ang paglago. La 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 la, larga Mabini, sandaang taon ka na Mabini. La 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 la, larga Mabini, sulyap sa nakaraan, sulok sa kaunlaran. Larga Mabini, sandaang taon ka na Mabini. La 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 la, larga Mabini, sulyap sa nakaraan, sulok sa kaunlaran. Mabini, larga Mabini, larga Mabini, sandaang taon ka na Mabini. La 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 la, larga Mabini, sulyap sa nakaraan, sulok sa kaunlaran. Larga Mabini, sandaang taon ka na Mabini. Larga Mabini, sulyap sa nakaraan, sulok sa kaunlaran. Mabini, larga Mabini, Mabini, sulyap sa nakaraan, sulok sa kaunlaran. Mabini.
Mabini also has its own song.
So Mabini is known for its diving and snorkeling sites. It is named after Apolinary Mabini, a Filipino revolutionary hero. It is named after Apolinary Mabini, a Filipino revolutionary hero.
I think his life story is the most inspiring of all the Philippine heroes because he didn't let disabilities hinder him from giving his best to the service of his beloved country. Before I muse here about my thoughts of this illustrious man, let me first tell you about his life story, his early life, his contributions to the Philippine society, his death, and his legacy. Mabini was born in the second of 8 children on July 22, 1864 in Barangay Talaga in Tanuan, Batangas to Donicia Mahanan and Inocencio Mabini. He received his education in the Colegio de San Juan de Letran and in the University of Santo Tomas. He supported himself while studying by his own efforts and made a brilliant record in both institutions. Later, he devoted his energies to the establishment of a private school in Manila and to legal work. Believing that the reform movement still had a chance to achieve success, Mabini did not immediately support the Philippine Revolution. He became part of the La Liga Filipina, wherein they would fight instead of revolt, and chose that they would rather be a colony of Spain rather than having a big revolution of their freedom. When the result part of the La Liga Filipina was executed in December that year, however, he changed his mind and gave this revolution his wholehearted support. In the subsequent revolution against the United States, he became known as the brains of the revolutions. He was considered by the American Army officers who bent every energy to capture him. He was the leading advisor of Aguinaldo and was the author of the latter's many able decrees and proclamations. One of Mabini's greatest works was his draft of a constitution for the Philippine Republic. It was accompanied by what he called the True Decalogue. Mabini's 10 Commandments are so framed as to meet the needs of Filipino patriotism for all time. Mabini died in Manila of cholera, May 13, 1903, at the age of 39. His funeral was the most largely attended of any ever held in Manila. Although he died from natural causes, Mabini died a martyr to the cause of the Philippine independence. 5 years of persecution left his intense patriotism untouched, but it had made his physical self a ready victim for a premature death. One of the most important legacies that Apolinary Mabini had brought to the Philippine society is his proof that even people who are physically disadvantaged can do something for the society. Even to bring about change, as the Philippine government presents the annual Apolinary Mabini Awards to outstanding persons with disabilities. Well, I definitely agree of what the late General MacArthur said of our humble man, that Mabini is a highly educated young man. He has a classical condition, a very flexible, imaginative mind, and Mabini's views were more comprehensive than any of the Filipinos that I have met. His idea was the dream of a Malay Confederacy, not the Luzon of the Philippine archipelago, but I mean of that blood. He is a dreamy man, but a very firm character and of a very high accomplishment. I think if there will be more Mabinis in our political system today, the Philippines will be a better place to live in, because a politician like him will not be an insatiable greedy man, but someone who will seek to serve his constituents to the best of their interests.
Legend states that the first Malay settlers
to inhabit the vast fertile land bordering the two bodies of water now known as the Batangas Bay and the Balayan Bay. First found anchor along the shores of the land protruding down southwestward known geographically as the Calumpan Peninsula.
These Malay settlers found the land fertile and agriculturally appropriate and the sea rich in marine resources. They established their settlements in this one vast unknown land. As more Malay settlers arrived from distant lands, more settlements were founded until even the upland regions of the peninsula were settled. The inhabitants had been their own form of village government. They were ruled by a headman, a datu, or a sultan in case of big encampments. Malay civilization began to take roots. Rapid increase of population brought about the settlements of other neighboring regions that it did not take long before several neighboring regions were inhabited. Later on comprised the whole province of Kumintang, better known later as Batangas.
Formerly, Mabini was part of municipality of Bawan.
During the Spanish colonial rule, the Calumpan Peninsula was made a part of the Pueblo of Bawan in the province of Kumintang. The same peninsula territory of Bawan was subdivided into various Mainaga, Pulong Nyogan, Polong Balibaguhan, Anilaw, Sulo, Pulong Anahaw, Bagalangit, Nag-Iba, Malimatok, Saging, and Talaga. For more than 300 years, while the archipelago was under Spanish domination, the peninsula remained a part of the Pueblo of Bawan even until the early part of the American occupation.
The people suffered from hardship until the gallant uprising of 1896, which emancipated the people from the tyrants of Spain. They fought courageously. The youths of the community joined the revolutionary forces, led by no other than Don Francisco Castillo, known as Capitan Kiko. It was also mentioned among the folklore of this community that a Chinese explorer and geographer whose name could not be longer recalled first landed on the shore of this peninsula in one of his trips to the island of Mai, which is known as the Mindoro. Chinese, Indonesians, and other races found a haven for their trade along the shores of this peninsula during the pre-Spanish era. During the Spanish times, a certain galleon of the Spanish government lying between this country and Mexico was attacked, plundered, and sunk by the Moro pirates riding in glittering vintas along the shores of this peninsula. It can also be said in passing that the Malay settlers were subjected to the uttermost cruelty and vandalism done by the Moro pirates who wantonly attacked the villagers along the coasts. These Moro forages caused hardships and other difficulties to the inhabitants, resulting in their formation of stronger measures to counterattack the Moro depredations. These menaces to the lives and properties during the pre-Spanish era continued during the Spanish times and the purposes of administrative expediency. There were created political subdivisions, the insular territories to provinces, the provinces to municipalities or pueblos, the pueblos or municipalities to barrios, and lastly, to sitio.
After efforts had been exerted by the proponents of establishing a new municipality independent of the town of Bawan, 11 barrios of the Calumpan Peninsula and the whole of Marcaban Island was declared an independent municipality with the name Mabini, derived from the Philippine hero Apolinario Mabini. The newborn municipality of Mabini was inaugurated on January 1, 1918, with Captain Francisco Castillo, known as the founder of the town, as the first appointed municipal president.
According to the Philippine Statistic Authority, the municipality has a land area of 44.47 square kilometers, constituting 1.43% of the 3,119.75 square kilometers total area of Batangas.
Mabini is politically subdivided into 34 barangays. Barangay San Juan was formerly the sitios of Nag-Ilong and Lugay in the barrio of Maynaga, constituted into a separate and independent barangay through Republic Act No. 212, approved June 1, 1948.
In the 2015 census, Mabini had a population of 46,211. The population density was 1,000 inhabitants per square kilometer.
Jeepney and tricycle are the main means of transportation around the town. Currently, there are two piers that serve the area, Anilao Pier and Talaga Pier, mainly catering for motor bancas going to and from the nearby island town of Tingloy.